How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Impala restoration video. Finally, I know it's been forever. I have been doing small things and it has taken forever to kind of like put it all in a video. I've just been kind of doing one thing every time I come home. But yeah, let me show you what we've been doing. So as you know, or maybe don't know, I don't know, I have cut these out to get out these brackets here, these guys. And the reason I needed these out is because they were all screwed up from rust. That one initially broke, and then you can see the spot welds in that one. That one broke off completely. So yeah, I had to drill those out, drill these little holes here, and there was a mouse nest here. So I was like, might as well cut this out, suck the mouse nest out. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of rust in there. It's not bad. It's just scaly and yucky. So we're gonna try and fix that. So I took all these out and drilled these out and that one out. So I drilled all those out so I can fix and prevent them from breaking in the future if I ever have to take the bumper off or if I ever have to take something off again. These were what we were dealing with. These are the body mounts right here. This one's in pretty good shape actually. Just this big triangle nut thing goes in there. This is another thing I've been working on. This big triangle deal goes in there and keeps it from moving. So I made new ones out of just some metal. I traced these out, bent them up. This one's a little smaller because I don't need it to move as much. But as you can see, they are pretty much the same. And this fits in there just perfectly and allows it a lot less movement, but I can still line it up to where I need to. So another thing I have been doing that also requires this guy again is I've been rust treating these, keeping them from rusting again by heating them up cherry red, like a dark cherry, and dousing them in oil. And I have done all of these over here, most of these. We got these nuts right there for the fronts. I just figured I'd do those while I was doing it. So we got the other triangle thing and that one. So they are all soaked with oil, and you can clean it off and the oil will stay in it and the water just kind of like beads off basically. It's pretty cool. Instead of like electrocoating it, you can do that, which I wanted to electrocoat it because that sounded cool. But didn't really feel like ordering zinc and all that fun stuff, so I just did that. And then the cage nuts for the bumper, I was going to order these, but they're kind of a pain in the ass to order. I think I had found some there for a Chevelle, but not that it matters, Chevelle versus Impala, but they just didn't quite look the same, and the nuts were different. So these ones, after I drilled it out, I was like, that's actually in good shape, and it's pretty thick still, but it was all rusty like this. So we've got some Evaporust, and I've kind of been cooking all these in Evaporust recently, and yeah, pulling them out. I just took this one out, so this one's nice. I did flatten it out before I stuck it in Evaporust, obviously, so it is flat and not all bent up, because these were all stripped out too, because I had to drill out some of the bumper bolts. So got these cleaned up, and then I've been going through and cleaning up bolts. This is a control arm bolt. This is also an Evaporust for about a day, plus maybe 2 hours in this with it running, and came out super good. So I've been doing that for all these. That's what this is. This is just the Evaporust. That's why it has this weird scratchy texture to it, because that's where the rust was eating it. So I've been going through. This jar is full of nuts and bolts of this. All these were done in there as well. I don't really remember what these go to, but I'll figure it out through videos. It's just kind of a big puzzle piece. Just start putting the pieces together that I know, and they'll all make sense. So not too worried about it yet. Another thing I've been doing, lots of things. I've got all the bushings. All these guys got polyurethane bushings. They're all greased. So every single one, these got paint. I'm a little worried that these bolts are going to be too thick to slide through there, but we'll worry about that later if that is an issue. So we've got those completed. Obviously we got the springs, These have all been the same since the painting video. Got the bushings and the track bar. I have the bushings for the strut rods. And then this is what set me back probably the most from doing a video, is my control arms that I had painted and everything. I was having issues with these bushings and how they're lined, like the old bushing holes. I'm pretty sure these control arms are bent slightly. I'll throw up a picture of one now, of one of these, and they're completely bent. And when I was taking these out, I really should have done this before I painted them. Don't do that. Make sure you do all your bushings first. I don't know. I'm just not going to do it again, basically. You do however you want. But I just found the way you remove these, you're going to scratch the paint. And I didn't want to scratch the paint, and I scratched the paint. It was kind of hard to avoid scratching the paint. I don't know if I really scratched this one up. Yeah, you can kind of see I dug through it. That's bare metal right there from the vise. This one's a good one. I had practice on the other one. I don't know where the other one is. Shit's just kind of everywhere now. But I did order tubular control arms. So we got, this is just the regular Classic Industries, Jags, Summit brand. This same manufacturer makes the same kind of deal here. These are Jags because I got the best deal on them. The Summit or the Classic Industries ones looked exactly the same. They even said the same description. So this is just kind of a universal manufacturer type of thing. So these are here. They're control arms. They're beefy. They're actually way heavier than you would think. But that crossbar is way thicker. We got the lower control arms as well. They came in a kit. Comes with a ball joint that I might change out. I don't know, that one seems kind of strange. So I'll see about changing these. This ball joint is just not greased, and this boot is kind of weird. It feels really cheap, basically, is what it feels like. It just feels super cheap. So I'm gonna look at the other ones I have. We'll see if they're any better quality. Probably just swap those on there. Got the axle done. That's kind of I think we saw that last video. Just a lot of random stuff that has taken quite a long time. Yes, another thing I did is I finished working on the frame, kind of in between in the seams here on the rails. Here's a little spot. So when they powder coated it, they didn't get the best inside those welds there because the welds aren't perfect. So you can kind of see the color difference. It's really hard to tell. Just kind of right there, you can kind of see. So I had left it out kind of in the weather to kind of make sure I can see where all those little rust spots were going to start, because it did kind of start rusting ever so slightly, and just, you know, all the crevices and stuff that they didn't get. So I went through, I had to flip it over. I did the top side because I was easy, didn't have to flip it, it was already there. So I got somebody to help me flip it. Now I was able to do the underside of it. So all the creases and crevices that I can physically get to with my eyeballs and a paintbrush and a rattle can. Not that that's what I should use for the top coat, but it's good stuff anyway. So I went through, got all the little spots that I can physically get, just to slow the rust down as slow as I can, I guess. So yeah, I think that is it. Okay, we are now under the Impala, and this is where I decided I should start making a video. I've been going through and prepping the underside of it for an undercoat. So I've been going through with some Scotch-Brite, some basically 320 grit, and just kind of scuffing everything. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's just not sort of shiny. I'm on 0.5 because it's super close in here and doesn't have much detail. But I've been going through, getting everything from the trunk back there over and under the doghouse type deal. And you can kind of see where I stopped at this cross member back here. So that's what it looked like before, and this gray after. All the floor kind of looked like this. and now it's coming out to this gray color. So with that being said, let's just kind of jump. This video is kind of gonna be all over the place, just me checking things off the list, so not really in any particular order. Just gonna be doing stuff as I go. So I think I'm gonna finish taking these bolts out. We should check those out, see how they all came out. We gotta oil treat them, and then I've got these over here that I have to put some Pour 15 on. I'm gonna use Pour 15 because it is really hard stuff, and I like it a lot from using it a lot. This is just where the springs mount on the control arm. There's a hole right there. These mount there, and then the rear coil springs will sit on these guys, and then these ones are the front spring holders. Those go in the front control arms that keep the spring from being overstretched, basically. I keep them from coming out. This kind of bolts down to the control arm and keep the spring in. So gotta paint these. We're just gonna do a rail can of like bed liner, but I'd rather just do it right, do it hard, so I don't ever have an issue with it. That's what takes forever. Is I want to do this really good. So yeah, it's taking a long time. But anyway, let's get to screwing with some stuff. What I've been doing is taking my walkie-talkie light thing and just fishing these guys out of there, dipping them in the water, cleaning them off. Just grab that, honestly. I don't know why I have to use this. And just wiping them down. And bada bing, you got yourself a new bolt. So basically all I'm going to do is go through my jar of nuts and bolts, clean them up, set them right there. Alright, I've done most of these bolts already. I've done 4. Got 3 left, plus the 2 nuts. Figured I'd show you how this goes. It's kind of cool. The smoke goes everywhere. This glass is already super hot. I don't think I can touch it for very long. I've been doing those 4. So I don't think it's going to break. It hasn't broken yet. I think there might be a... No, it's just a seam. Surprisingly, it hasn't broken. It was creaking and stuff. It was pretty scary when I started. But anyway, I'll show you what I've been doing. Heat these up. It's pretty self-explanatory. I've got 3 different vice grips on the floor here that are cooling down. I use a different one every time. Just gonna grab it here and just light these guys. And then sometimes likes to catch fire, so you kind of got to do it quick. There it goes. That looks cool. Once you get that side done, there she goes. And that is it. That's all you do. Here's our smoking bolt pile. Bolt nut and bolt pile. Even did that lock washer. We'll see if it still springs after that. I kind of doubt it. So yeah. Got all those done. Got our smoking jar of oil, which is very, very toasty. Here are these. I put the last coat on these before I started doing that. So these guys are looking good. So yeah. Alright, we got these bumper brackets here. I'm just going to fill in these holes that I had cut out. So when we go in from the bottom of the frame, we're going from the bottom, we can just kind of make sure these are all lined up and weld them in wherever they want to be. So for that, I'm just going to fill in these holes like I said and be done with them real quick. So I went to stick these in the car to see how they'd line up, and they were just too short. So I went and kind of made a little rounded top on both the top and bottoms of these. I don't know where the other one went. It's on the floor. So there we have it. It should reach now after I grind these down on the wheel again. And yeah. Alright, so we are back here at the back of the car where I have cut all these things open. And I just went through with a wire brush and got out most of all the scale that I can get out with some wire brushes and a screwdriver. So yeah, we got quite a bit out. Definitely better than it was. So there's all that. That there. That there. And there. And here, obviously. Still got to drill this side out. And this corner right in there as well. But I figured, since I have to drill these spot welds out for that one there, I went and got some goodies from the CarQuest here. And they have some copper weld stuff, which I'm going to use that for the brackets. We got two different types of rust conversion stuff that I want to try. We got rust mort and this Permatex rust treatment. That's what they had in stock. Anyway, I talked to him. He said this stuff is the best. And this stuff is also pretty good. So I figured we'll try it on these brake drums back here that I'm not going to use. So this you can either kind of brush on or spray on, whatever you want to do. This one obviously comes in a can. Doesn't have a shaker in it. It feels kind of weird. So all I did was brush it on with a paintbrush. I'll probably do the same. I think I got a spare brush sitting somewhere that I had just used that I cleaned. So I think, well, I'm going to spray this, and while this is drying or doing whatever it needs to do, I'm going to come out, we'll drill these holes out, and we'll copper weld all the brackets that go in here. This one wants to add 2 or 3 coats with a couple minutes of dry time in between. I'm going to give this a worst case scenario and not clean it. I think I'll just go straight across, just like that. And this side, I'm probably just going to pour it out and move it around with the brush on that side. Let's see how this works. I've already shaken it quite a bit. Okay. We'll call that one coat. It said wet coat, so good for that. This stuff, so it does come out clear, which is interesting. Oh, this stuff isn't. It's green. I'm just gonna pour this. Whoa, hold on. Getting a little carried away now. That's probably a little way too much there. Okay, I think we'll leave it at that, and we'll see what happens. All right, so here's an update on the brake drum thing. It's not black yet. It's definitely darker on this side from this bottle. This side's still kind of rusty colored, but there's a little bit of black kind of creeping in there, so we'll see what happens. But I did go ahead and become impatient and use this stuff, the spray stuff in here, because I'm not really gonna be able to get a brush in there, even if that does work anyway. So I just went in and just kind of absolutely soaked this area in here with that stuff. So yeah, we'll see how it works. This side started over here. This side's already starting to turn black and do weird black things. So yeah, you can see it's kind of starting to change colors in random places. That's cool. It is. It's doing something. I kind of got in all the way in there as far as I could. All the way down in there. So yeah, I think I'll come back in the morning and see what it's doing. I got these flaps on that side too. So we'll come back in the morning, see what she looks like. But it says give it 24 hours. So I'll check back in the morning, see if anything's changed. If not, I'm going to use that and the Rust-Oleum rust reformer too. This stuff's really good. I did the blower motor area in there with this a long time ago to see how it would work. The cowl, you could call it, with that, and it worked really well. And I like the color of it too. So I think, and you can use that at any angle too. So we will try and use that Rust-Oleum stuff to top coat it. But we'll see how it looks in the morning. For that, I'm gonna go to bed, and it is 12:30. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, we are back the next afternoon now. Had some chores to do, went and mowed lawn and fixed some sprinklers and lights and, you know, just another weekend stuff. But update on the rust stuff. I haven't done anything since I ended it. That's what it looks like. Looks like it did some things black, some things not. So I don't know. I definitely put down a coating in there. So a lot of this turned black. So yeah, I'm gonna go in there now with some rust reformer. I love this stuff. This stuff works really good. So I'm gonna get in there, cut everything down with this, and then once that dries, we'll go in and start welding in these brackets. I've got these brackets painted over here. Got the weld through primer on these guys. So these guys are all nice and mint. I'm just gonna leave the two ears just like that so I can weld it. But everything else I just want to use as thick as possible. Still gotta get into some places, but yeah, that's what these are doing. This one's done. This is with that rust reformer stuff. Nice matte black. It's not fully dry yet, but I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna start spraying this. Kind of get on the places as much as I can, at least, just to help. And get all those things welded back up. Get these stupid flaps done. Then we can sand back here, and then when we undercoat the rest of the car, we can get all this done. All right, got in there. That's just one kind of thick coat of just kind of going everywhere. I see a spot that I missed right over there. Yeah, can't really get my phone in there. But yeah, just got her in thick. This paint actually evens out really nicely. It looks all drippy, but it kind of evens out somehow. So yeah, just kind of got everywhere I could. Try and slow her down. So you got some drips on the floor. But yeah, we'll let that dry a little and see how we're looking. So here's the finished product, all painted in there and looking good. So yeah, the streaks really don't even, that's why I like this paint, is it kind of hides the streaks a little bit. You can see where it ran. There's not much like buildup. So hiding all these little corners and everything, so it's good to go. Got the mounts kind of just sitting in there chilling, sticking through the bottom right there. That one's obviously just the square nut. So got this one clamped in right there. And then I sprayed some weld through primer on it. You kind of see the gold on this side right there. This side I gotta scratch it off, but all of these are coated with weld through primer. But yeah, should weld in nicely. Those spot welds there, and then we can close all these up. I'll start with these and practice on these ones. I think before I do that, just to get this metal size right, get my welder set. Picked up a gas bottle for it, so I can run straight MIG wire now instead of flux core. So it's not making a sooty, nasty mess that flux core usually does. Well, been practicing on it a little bit. Much better. Yeah, I'll turn this thing on. Not gonna record much because it screams. You basically can't even hear me. Got her grounded. It's the best spot to do it. I could clean this spot up, but I already have that cleaned up, so why not use that? Gonna get this fired up, get the gas adjusted, and weld in these mounts. How's it going, everyone? We are back another day on the Impala, and as you can see, quite a bit has changed, and I filmed a whole lot of none of it. I got the rear end in. That was fun. Got the rear end mostly in. Just got the springs in. Obviously not going to do the shocks because they're just going to be stretched to high hell, and don't want to ruin them. But got the shocks or springs in, bushings in. You can see they're collecting foliage because of the grease. I'm just going to be able to move it around a little bit. I didn't record most of it because I would do it after I got off of work and it was getting pretty dark. Kind of wanted to knock it out. I did one thing a day. Started with just the bump stops up front. Those guys right there. And then I came over here, did these bump stops, or that one bump stops. I don't know where these ones went. They're supposed to be bump stops that go, where those two bolts are. But I don't know where they went. So, guess we're not putting those on. I didn't order any, and kind of hard to find. I did find some, but they're off like eBay or something. So, won't worry about them for the time being. We got a lot more to worry about. But I did start doing the front end up here. I just put the control arms on. There's really just two bolts. Just kind of wanted to get them out of my garage and get them on. So these are nice. They came with ball joints in them, but these were kind of cheaper, kind of a universal brand, like Jag sold them, Classic Industries sold them. They're all the same as just like some single manufacturer. They're pretty similar to the Global West. Didn't get those because I got this whole kit for about the same price that the uppers are from Global West. They're kind of they take the same manufacturer, but they just kind of tweak it a little bit and make it a bit better. They're the same mostly. They got the same bearing bushings, as you want to call them. There's a little bearing in there, a little greasable stuff on them. But they did come with just cheap ball joints. Came in a kit. Like this little boot here is just like, what the hell is this supposed to do? Or as this AC Delco one that I bought previously. Much better design. This upper one is also an AC Delco one, but it kind of has that same boot. But this one's full of grease, at least. these ones, the uppers of the other ones were empty, and just these are just cheap, and they weren't even tight really. All these bolts were just hand tight, but that should be whoever's responsibility of building them, just make sure they're tightened. But just something I noted, they're already installed, but none of the bolts were tight. So like I said, I already had these laying around, so I just swapped these ball joints just so I can have higher quality ball joints in case there's something wrong with these. I did the lowers just to kind of mess around, and I was just seeing how they go on. I did do this one backwards. The nut is supposed to be out here, and the bolt's supposed to go in this channel, so I'll take that out on the camera. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. It's supposed to be the other way, basically. I'm gonna start doing these. I am waiting for another ball joint here because Amazon had a mislabeled AC Delco box, and they sent me a lower instead of an upper. So I have 3 uppers, or 3 lowers, and just 1 upper, if that makes sense. I don't know if that came out correctly, but yeah, so that'll be here tomorrow, so we can do that. But yeah, let's take this bolt out. Let's get it swapped around the right way. I did get this, which I didn't know I needed until I realized they existed. There's a parts breakdown assembly manual for this off Classic Industries. As you can see, it gives you breakdown of, well, the whole car. There's over 300 pages in here, and gives you torque specs and everything. So like the torque for the control arm for the upper is, let me see, torque spec 1, which is down here, which is 45 to 55 foot-pounds. I think I did it a little tighter than that because it didn't seem very tight. So it's probably around 60 to 70 foot-pounds maybe. But yeah, it just gives you the breakdown. See, this is that bolt I was talking about. I had installed it wrong. This is the hole, the access hole. Cam downward. So you're supposed to slide that through, and the nut is on that side. Looks like the torque spec was missing on this one, but you can just kind of do order of elimination here. There's 1, 2, and so that one's probably 3. So 3 is 100 to 135 foot-pounds. So yeah, pretty easy to look through, and it's just the whole car is in here. There's like the control arm things. I did all this without this manual for that. They're just loose. They need to be tightened because you can't really tighten these down until the car is sitting on it, and there's really no weight on it. These bushings are actually acting like shocks because I can't even. I used to be able to spring this around with the old bushings and stuff, but this thing's stiff. I can't even get it to move. So yeah, let's flip back over here. We'll take this bolt out, flip it around so she goes in that way, and try to jam a spring in there. I got a clever idea on how I'm going to do that. I got the nut broke loose. I apparently don't own any 1/2-inch ratchets, so I don't know where they all went. I tried looking for one, and I don't see any. So yeah, all I did for this, I'll see it in a second, is people were saying they were struggling with these little shims basically for this lower control arm, but I was just kind of able to jam them in there, and they were good to go. Those guys right there. Trying to avoid dropping them, but these guys basically go in this control arm like this and just kind of match. It's got this fisheye thing, that's what I'm going to call it for scientific terms, in there. It's got those, and all you do is just stick these in there, jam this in the frame, push the bolt through all at the same time. So the trick, if you will, if I can see it, when you put it in, this washer is facing down like this. A little access hole in there. These guys. I will push it against that far side. It doesn't fall out. Attempt to anyway. There we go. Just like that. And get in here. You can see. Rotate it a little bit till you get it fit in the hole or the washer won't clear. There she goes. Boom. And that was facing downwards. Make sure the washer is the right way. It is. And there's two little guides in there it'll rest up against, just like that. That's actually what adjusts your angle. You can see the controller moving in and out. I'll find my shiny side that I had painted. Jam that sucker in there. And apply the nut. Now when I took it out of my car, I believe, but I will check the video, I believe that it was straight down like that. You see how it kind of pushed it forward? I am pretty positive is where mine was. Another day. Yesterday was 100 degrees around 8 o'clock, and it is 97 at 7:40, so it's a little bit cooler today. I've had a completely hot week, which has shut me down on doing progress on this. It's just been in the 105, 107. Is deadly, basically, and it's a little cooler this afternoon, so we're back out on this. Had to take a break yesterday, didn't get much done, but we've rigged up the engine simulator, so we got the bar to here, which conveniently fits just perfect. Whatever size square tubing this is that we just had laying around fit perfectly inside the tow package. So just backed her up. She's got gas in it, which the tank's right there, so that's nice and heavy. And I finagled the spring in there, got it lined up down here. Obviously you can turn this one. I just got to make sure it's lined up at the top first. Got the jack under it. So yeah, we should be good to go. I just got to make sure that we are in fact lined up there, which I'll check once I put the phone down, but this spring's just chilling in here. I had to go steal a different spring compressor from AutoZone. Hopefully I can get that piece out. Should be able to. If not, we'll find out. But yeah, got this spring compressor. It's this center one, this two-piece one. Wouldn't work. I used it for the back, but I got frustrated with it last night and rented this one, or bought it. I don't know if I decide to return it or not. Perfect. That is all the way over there, or like the unscrew part is way the hell over there. Here. engine. That's what it is. This compressor is in the wrong spot completely. Be able to move it, not sure, but I'm gonna grab the control arm or the spindle, get the spindle on here, and we can maybe lock it up and see what the issue is there, if we can fix that or if it's got to come off again. Grab the spindle, let's hope it fits. If not, we can adjust the jack with a different jack or something. Take the kink out of that later, I suppose. Come here. Jack's gonna be in the way. Yep. Damn it. That sucks. She's got to go up a lot though. That's for sure. Yeah. Just keep jacking, I guess. Oop, frame's doing things. Enough room now. Wrong size. Still got a little bit of wiggle room, but not much. Take this bump stop out. If we can jack it up more, maybe, if the frame wants to do that. Not really looking like it. She's not liking the geometry. Oh yeah, and it's sliding now too. Great. I got a time bomb on my hands here. I can get my fingers out of there now. That's hitting the control arm now. Theoretically, it won't kill me now. Theoretically, I say. think it's looking good, boys. Ah, yes. Yes, it is. Now, we'll get this bad boy out of here. Which might prove easier said than done, because of its shape. What its job is. Well, you know what? You just take it out. Take the rod out, hopefully. I've seen a couple of videos where these get stuck in there. But we'll get it. Just spread the spring apart in one spot or something. And yeah, is Milwaukee alive? No. I'll be here a minute. I don't want to get a new battery. This is where I find out I used the wrong spindle. I just grabbed a random spindle. I don't know. But the steering arms are off. It shouldn't matter. Maybe. God damn it. Yay. Woohoo. Stupid thing. Alright. Now all we gotta do is install a ball joint on that one over there. And we got steering over here now. Now we gotta put the woohoo here, the strut rod, whatever you want to call it. We got springage. Alright. Back out here. Just went in, ate dinner. That's why the sun went down. Got the strut rod. And the bushing kit right here for it. Polyurethane stuff. These are pretty simple. This thing goes in this hole here in the frame, and they just meet together, and then you will stick one of the nuts on the outside. I had left this one in here previously, but I can still adjust it later. But we don't have the weight of the car on or anything, so we're not going to worry about that yet. We're not going to be driving anytime soon. So all you do, you stick these, one of them, here. Oh, I need the washer first. Idiot. Oh, dang. These are all rust coated. What the hell's going on with this one? There we go. Just like so. Stick this through. This lined up first. Stick that guy in there. That guy in there as well. Another washer and a nut. Sort of like that. I'm just going to keep the play that we have. As you can see, this adjusts the control arm left or right. These bolts, I've just rust coated these. These are nice and black now. Push the way in. There she goes. Just like that. Take one and the washers. Right. Now, our 16ths down there. Run those in. The ratchet that is somewhere. So, about 50 years ago, GM wanted these 60 to 80 foot-pounds. So we are going to go to 70. Right in the middle. Just because why not? Torque these guys. Goodness. Torque wrench on? Yep. I just got bad leverage. That's all. Makes it feel tight. Alright, we're going to go to 60. Good enough. I like how this held that just perfectly. Okay, those are over torqued, so that's good. And now we can sort of snug up the nut back here, I suppose. Not that it's going to do anything, but probably just leave it loose till we get the weight of the car on, because it's not necessarily where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be in there a lot more. So, actually I lied a little bit. I was going to go to the other ball joint, but instead I wanted to bring this gap in before I forgot. So I just got the frame jacked up as high as it will go. Just going to put my weight on it so it'll, see, you got the suspension moving. But just seating it in place. Got the gap kind of hidden. Seems to be pulling in quite nicely. Yeah. We are good. Good till the alignment place does their thing. You can see now it's squishing against the bushing. We are good to go on this side, and then I did the ball joints. I got the clips in here, got the clip in there. They're all nice and tight. You can see the ball joints are moving with the spindle. So they are good to go. See that again. Some geometry is happening. There we go. She is set. You can see, got the ball joints all good to go. So this side is done, minus this thing, but I don't think I'm going to do this. I'll just make sure the steering shafts are the right way first. But I think we'll move on to brakes before we finish this side. Alright, I guess GM can't make up their mind, or AC Delco rather, on what ball joint style to go with. This one's got red clips, and this one's just your standard run-of-the-mill. Also AC Delco ball joint, same part number and everything. It even says I had ordered this one in January when I ordered these. These are the same part number. This one's clearly different, but it bolts up the same. Everything about it's the same. It's just built better on this version than this one, I guess. So, I don't know. Alright, we're back. Another day. It's a lot brighter now. It's all changed. It's cooler, I suppose. 91. that's good. Let's get the spring in there. Finished up everything on the other side last night. Or I guess this side last night. Got the ball joint in. And it became bedtime. So, in case you guys never used one of these, I suppose, I will show you how to use it. By that, you simply insert pretty close to the top. Obviously change it if yours isn't going to reach, like if you got something in the way, you want to get it out of the way. Like if I put the clips down here at the bottom, it's going to sit in there. You don't want it in there, obviously. Oh, I'm going to clip this about there. See? It evens out. And then this, you just jam in somewhere. There's probably a right or wrong way to do this. We'll figure it out eventually. Probably go here or something. Kind of adjust it by spinning along the coil for X amount of time. Kind of annoying. Not bad though. Wrong way. There we go. I won't go any further than that. Getting pretty down there. Let you guys clip on. Put your hand in there somewhere. Kind of try and center this guy. Too far. There we go. Bring your back a ways. Tighten this thing up. I always find my leg in the way. Don't mind the bend that it's got. It's good for it. And that's it. Just gonna make sure these notches are semi lined up. Make sure this thing's straight, or you'll get the spring kind of squeezing in one direction or whatnot. Recommended to have a can of WD-40 for those washers. They get a little toasty. See how we're looking? It's looking pretty good, honestly. Just jam your time bomb in there. Line up the ending here with the ending up there on your frame, if it's got one. Same thing with down here. I already got this kind of turned roughly where it's going to go. And all in there. Feel it stop. When you find out everything doesn't line up, flip. 3-inch that you can't tell. Anyway, we get these ball joints cinched up, get the cotter keys in, and yeah. Alright, well it did go on ahead and become the next day. Finished the suspension. Got the strut rod on. Got the ball joints torqued. The only thing I'm slightly worried about is the spring doesn't look like it's completely in there for some reason. I think I did miss that gap a little bit, but I don't know that it would matter that much. We'll see what happens when we get weight on it. Worst case, we'll change this out, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be fine because everywhere else is seated. But I don't know, I might maybe try and pry it in or something. I don't really have a gap back there, so I don't really know. But it like comes out and then goes back in over there, so I don't know. We'll see how it is. The other side is completely fine. That went like normal. This side's kind of seated in good. Well, I guess it does kind of come up this side, huh? Yeah. It's probably meant to be like that then, because this side I know was perfect. I couldn't get this side any better. So, alrighty, that's gonna be it for this video. It was so random, just kind of for a bunch of different parts going on, so many different days. But like I said, I've just been trying to do something every day after work. But last week, from when this was being filmed, this is filmed on was it August 3rd. The week before that was just 107, 105 degrees the whole week, and it was pretty miserable working, and then coming here and this kind of just being out in the middle of the sun. I can't put it in the garage and work on it. Not that I would be any colder, but it was just miserable, so I didn't do too much, but make up for it this week. So yeah, stay tuned for the next part. We should either be doing brakes or finishing sanding the floors on this. I didn't get the brakes out because I can't put the steering knuckles on to get the brakes set up, because they come with new bolts and everything. I was about ready to start rust treating the new bolts. I was like, let me make sure it comes with new ones, because it might, and it did. So good thing I didn't do that. That would have been a waste of 20 minutes, but it's only 20 minutes, so we're good to go. Stay tuned for next part, where we're doing one of the two things, I don't know. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.